Hello and welcome to Iyengar Yoga Asheville. I'm Randy, and I'm going to talk a little bit today about awareness and use of the very tip of the fingertip to help you with that search for awareness in your posture. Oftentimes when I start class and we're getting ready to sit for the invocation, I will ask students to use that very sensitive tip of the fingertip on the floor. And yes, there's the ability to press down and lift up, but almost even more important is the awareness that that sensitive tip of the fingertip brings so that you can measure, am I lifting, am I leaning right, am I leaning left, what part of the fingertip is touching. And there's quite a bit of sensitivity there to allow you to see a little bit better what's going on. Now, this can also translate when I do, for example, a standing pose like Utthita Parshvottanasana, side angle pose. So for example, when I do side angle pose or Utthita Parshvottanasana, classically the palm would go on the floor. But can I use those sensitive tips of the fingertips to bring a little bit more awareness as to what's going on? So when I come into the pose, instead of taking the palm down, can I take those fingertips on the floor? And I'll show from the other side. Can I take those fingertips onto the floor and use those fingertips as a tool to measure, sense, feel, touch what's going on? And yes, there's still the functionality of the arm, but then there's also the knowledge of how much am I just leaning on that arm? And how much more should I be in my legs? I'll show from the other side, and I'll also show even with a brick. So even if I need a brick, it doesn't matter. I can have a brick for the same pose. And then I'm putting the fingertips on my brick, and then again, using those fingertips as a tool for awareness, as a sense of measurement. And yes, I can still use those fingertips in a functional way to help me deepen the pose, but I'm really using those fingertips to measure more about what's going on. And it doesn't just have to be a side angle pose. The possibilities of poses to do this in are pretty much endless. For example, could I take the same action in Ardha Chandrasana? And instead of palm down, which is classic, could I take the fingertips down and use those fingertips on the floor as a sense of measurement as to what's going on in my pose? So I'm using very, very tip of the fingertip, very tip of the fingertip to touch the floor and use that as a tool of awareness. Again, my name is Randy. This is Iyengar Yoga Asheville. Thank you for joining me today.